doing today? Happy Monday and welcome back here today to the Just Ballin podcast. Today, I'm going to be talking about a Bleacher Report article that breaks down their top 10 NBA trade chips right now. So realistic assets or picks that could be actually on the market or be used in a larger deal that are worth maybe more value than people think. And I think it's going to be a really interesting article to talk about and kind of give if I think this is a realistic trade asset. Do I think this is as valuable as Bleacher Report and Zach Buckley, who made this article, is making it out to be? I'm currently away right now when you guys are seeing this on Monday. I'll be back on Wednesday, or I'll be back like Tuesday, the 5th, I believe. So I am pre-recording this a little bit. I'm recording this on July 31st, so a couple days before you guys will actually see this on Monday. And if there's a Jonathan Kuminga, Cam Thomas, Josh Giddey, or Quentin Grimes signing or move that happens to by, I guess, the time you guys see this, or by Wednesday, 2 days from now, you know why I'm not mentioning it here today. So I'm excited to break this down and let's get into it. All right, so let's see what the first one is going to be. They mentioned that the league will snap out of this stalemate at some point, though, and we're going to have to give an early glimpse on who could be involved in the shakeups once they finally happen again. More specifically, we're here to subjectively rank the top 10 trade assets on the market right now. Think of these as the chips each shopper would pay if a difference maker became available. They're the sweetness of the sweeteners, if you will. And lastly, to be clear, we're not discussing the best players who could possibly be involved in a trade. Rather, the idea is to highlight and rank the top trade tools used to acquire those elites. These players and draft picks must feasibly or be feasibly available too. And let's get into this. So the first asset we have is the Milwaukee Bucks 2029 first round pick that the Portland Trailblazers own, which is kind of hilarious too, because they traded this for Damian Lillard, and Damian Lillard basically 2 years later ended back up on the Portland Trailblazers. I mean, I think it's so cool that Dame ended up back in Portland for a lot of reasons. Doesn't make a lot of basketball sense, not really. I hope even Drew Holiday doesn't stop the development or slow it down of Scoot this year. And I can't imagine like Scoot and Dame, how that's going to look in 2027, but we'll see. And they mentioned that basically this can be used obviously as a very intriguing trade asset. One, how funny would it be? It's not going to happen, but like the odds of it happening are so low that like Giannis got traded to Portland using this pick. It would be funny, but yeah, this pick could be extremely valuable because Milwaukee does not own a lot of their draft capital going forward. This isn't the only first rounder they own. They own some swaps, but this is just outright their first round pick in 2029, which is extremely valuable to have given Milwaukee's somewhat older roster. It got like fairly younger this offseason, but Miles Turner is 29. Giannis is got to be around that age, right? And then you also, like, you bring in Cole Anthony, you bring in, or they brought back Kevin Porter Jr., Taurean Prince, Gary Trent, Ryan Rollins, and those guys. So we'll see how Milwaukee kind of shapes up. But yeah, if they traded away Giannis, let's say in a year from now, right, when Giannis can become extension eligible, because the 2027 season is the last year guaranteed of his contract. Say Giannis does not want to sign an extension next offseason with Milwaukee, I would say the odds of him getting traded go up to like 85% if he does not sign an extension, because what Milwaukee can't do with no young core, with no draft capital, is basically let Giannis leave for nothing. They would basically become the 2016 Brooklyn Nets, given how bleak their future looked. And hey, 4 years later, they had KD and Kyrie, but Brooklyn is a different market than Milwaukee, and I don't know if that would happen in the modern day now. But yeah, I would say that the 2029 Bucks pick is extremely valuable that Portland owns. Next up, we have Nikola Topic here from the OKC Thunder. They mention here that he could end up as the best player from the 2024 draft class, but he probably will never start in Oklahoma City. Now, he does have 3 years left under this rookie deal. He loses a little bit of value because you didn't get anything out of him in the first year of the rookie deal, and it's only going to go up, especially since he was a lottery pick. So we'll see how many minutes Topic gets. He did look comfortable in Summer League. I mean, I think you had the growing pains, which we're going to see in his rookie season, but there's just so many guards in OKC. Like, you have Shea, Caruso, Dort, Joe, like Wiggins is, I guess, a wing, right? And you also have J-Dub, who could be considered one out there. AJ Mitchell, who they just gave a 3-year extension to. I think I said Cason Wallace, right? So there's just a ton of mouths to feed over there in OKC, and this could be a sweetener. I don't think you want Topic to go the Ousmane Dieng trajectory and lose his value year over year. This is the last year of Ousmane Dieng's team contract. I can't believe they picked it up. I was kind of surprised. I think there is still something there in Ousmane Dieng. I hope he ends up on a team that can actually use him this year. But we'll see if that ends up happening. I think Topic is going to be a fascinating ball handler. I think the 3-point shot is going to be very inconsistent out of the gate. That's what I talked about when he was coming out of Mega Basket a year ago. But I do think he can be a great initiator. He's got fantastic court vision. He can use his strength and his like low center of gravity to the floor to kind of get by and bruise by defenders. Because a lot of the guards that are guarding him really aren't the tallest guys in the world. We only saw him though in summer league, so we still have no idea how he's going to look against like the Drew Holidays of the world or the Derek Whites of the world or maybe an Andrew Nemhard of the world, right? So it's going to be, I think, some ups and downs, but I think you'd be very happy if Topic ended up becoming as good as Josh Giddey. But Josh Giddey ended up being somebody that didn't really fit this team, given that they traded him in the 2024 offseason. So, yeah, I wonder when this would happen. I wonder if we'll ever see a big OKC trade. We thought they could have been after every single star, Kevin Durant. I remember like when Domantas Sabonis was on the market, could they trade for him? Could they trade for Pascal Siakam? Could they have gone OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, like those guys? They never really gave up all those picks and young players for those guys right now. So we'll see what they end up doing. I don't think Sam Presti's going to trade Topic anytime soon, but this is an intriguing asset just because OKC doesn't really need him, which is crazy to say. Because that pick was what, the Clippers pick last year when they ended up. No, was it the Clippers pick? Yeah, I think it was the Clippers pick, right? At 12 or 13 when they were able to draft him in 2025. It might not have been, or in 2024. Next up, we have Reed Sheppard. So I guess it's very similar to Nikola Topic. Like, who has more value right now, Sheppard or Topic? I'd still say Sheppard. I know that Sheppard wasn't great in his rookie year. He did go 9 picks ahead of Nikola Topic. I think he's going to be a very good shooter still in the NBA. I was actually watching some Reed Sheppard Kentucky tape the other day. There's still such a good player in there. There really is. And I do think he would have had a very productive rookie year if he was handed the keys and had a longer leash as some of these other rookies did. Like if he had the leash that like Bub Carrington had or Isaiah Collier had and some of the other rookie guards that were good last year, but they weren't on good teams. So they had the chance to grow and play 30 minutes a night and sometimes get 13 shots a night and not think twice about it. But Reed Sheppard, if he had a bad shooting night and took 12 shots, he may have like lost the Rockets the game, like important games for the Rockets last year. So I get him, like Ime Udoka not fully trusting him because this was a team that thought they probably could have won a playoff series or two. And if Sheppard wasn't going to be a good defender and a consistent shooter, which was his calling card coming out of Kentucky, then there wasn't going to be a spot for him on the floor. Well, they got. You could say that they lost some depth this offseason, but not really. They traded Green, number 10, and Brooks for KD, so you lose a little bit of depth there, but you obviously get the best player in the trade. But you bring in Dorian Finney-Smith, you bring in Clint Capella, you still have Eason, Jabari Smith, Şengün, and Ben Thompson. There's so much depth in Houston. Now, there really isn't a lot of guard depth, which can help Reed Sheppard, because you have like an Aaron Holiday that's still there, but like it's more so Fred VanVleet, Amen Thompson in the backcourt, and then you got Reed Sheppard as like the backup guard who hopefully can have a higher usage, more touches, and you never know. There could be an injury to somebody, and Reed Sheppard is now doubling his minutes from his rookie season. I just still remember that OKC game last year where I think like Jalen Green and some other guys were hurt for the Rockets, and Reed Sheppard, look, it was probably his best game last year as a rookie, and it was against the best defensive team in the NBA. So I still have a lot of stock in Reed Sheppard. I had him as my third ranked prospect in the 2024 draft. Was he a top 10 rookie? No, but I still think he could be a really good player. And yeah, he is a really good trade piece, right? Like there's a reason why Phoenix made him basically untouchable in a Kevin Durant trade this offseason. I do wonder though, because if Sheppard does not take a somewhat of a step this year, these players can lose their value in year number 3. That's why I think in year number 3, in year number 2, sorry. Like we saw, like it was a big year for Scoot Henderson, right? But then there's some guys like, people might be more out on Anthony Black because you know what, like you can go through the growing pains as a rookie, but if you don't show strides in year number 2, you're going to lose, I think, a little bit value on the market. Like Anthony Black would have went for a lot more in a trade last year than he would have this offseason. Still a valuable player, but I do think it can hurt your value just a tad. So like we're going into year number 2 for Sheppard. So it's not the end of the world if it's not the best year, but we just got to see him be a little bit more consistent on the offensive end of the floor. Still a really good trade asset, and I'd rather have Reed Sheppard than Nikola Topic right now. Next up, we have the Golden State Warriors 2028 first round pick here. This is interesting because the Warriors own this first round pick. Now they have basically 2 years left of Draymond, Jimmy, and Steph. Steph's going to be 38 years old this year. And we have no idea like I said, I have no idea what's going on with Kuminga. They had the 2 timeline approach with Wiseman, Pods, Kuminga, and Wiseman's gone. Kuminga could be gone. And Moses Moody has been like maybe the most consistent player for you. Definitely not the highest ceiling guy. That's still Kuminga. But Pods obviously has been really good for them. He struggled in the first half last year. I thought he got better in the second half. And I know like when you're playing for a team like Golden State that has championship aspirations, that has this shorter window, that has a large fan base, you may like people overrate Pods and people will overrate a young player like for the Lakers and stuff like that. But I think Pods is still a very good player and has or has exceeded the value for where he went in like the mid to late part of the 2023 first round for sure. I mean, the Warriors could definitely dangle that in a trade. I mean, I don't know if they ever will. Like, I don't think they were going to actually get Kevin Durant. There was more optics behind that as well that weren't in their favor. But I do wonder if the Warriors would actually trade that. That could have been on the table in like a Lowry Markkanen trade last offseason when they were interested in him. But now that they have Jimmy, Draymond, and Steph, I mean, they could trade that for like a really good role player, right? Like, that's why I thought it was. I think this like Kuminga thing is so fascinating. Like, they want to give him a 1+1 with the team option on the second year to probably hedge their loss and just like maybe trade him this year at the deadline and use that matching salary. That's all they want him for. Because they also want to waive that built-in no trade clause that usually comes in with these guys that don't sign a long-term rookie extension. So I think Mike Dunleavy has done like a good job at times, but also a bad job at times. And I don't know if this is like pressure from the veterans. I don't know if Steve Kerr has some say in this, but I do feel like the Warriors, I mean, they didn't have to trade for Markkanen. I think I'd rather have Jimmy than Markkanen, at least in 26. But I do feel like you could have traded Jonathan Kuminga and Gary Payton last year at the deadline for Cam Johnson and maybe your 2027 first-round pick. And now you may get, like, you're getting offered Royce O'Neal and Nick Richards in 4 seconds from Phoenix, which is not great. And I think Cam Johnson would have been great here, and they still kind of need another center. I assume they're going to get Al Horford. That may have already happened by the time you guys are listening to this. But Al Horford is also 39 years old. So I wouldn't say that Warriors 2028 first is super, like, it's valuable for sure. But I honestly am more intrigued about that 2029 Bucks first. And I'm definitely, like, if I got offered, let's say, Topic or Reed Shepherd for the 28 Warriors first, what would I rather have? That's tough. That is tough because when you're looking at the market value of these guys, like Topic is in year 2, Shepherd's in year 2, or I get that pick that has a lot of, I don't know, like there's a lot of cap space to go around in the 27 offseason. I think I would take Topic and Shepherd over that 28 Warriors first. If like that was on a different team, I don't know if that would help that anymore. But I just don't know if the Warriors are going to like try to keep all their picks post Steph. I probably would at this point. So we have Cason Wallace here coming in at number 6. Now I'd take Cason Wallace over everybody we've mentioned so far. I think like Shepherd and maybe Topic have a higher ceiling, but Cason Wallace doesn't have like the offensive upside as those guys, but he's already proven it on the biggest stage in the NBA Finals. He's been a great role player and complimentary piece for OKC. You have to assume they're going to want to keep him. And, you know, we'll get to a point with the second apron and the Thunder may not be able to keep Dort, Caruso, and Cason Wallace. But yeah, maybe they would trade Cason Wallace for sure. But if we're ranking these assets we've talked about so far, I'm taking Cason Wallace over everybody else because I do think Cason Wallace can at least make an all-defensive team in his career. The point of attack defense is amazing. The way he's able to trap, the way he's able to guard guys in the post that are bigger than him. And I think he moves so quick laterally as well. And he's also a fantastic transition defender. Plus, this guy's been a very consistent three-point shooter in his career. I feel like he fits this OKC offensive system so well right now. And there's still so much room for improvement when he's already a great player for what he provides you on the defensive end of the court. So yeah, I don't know if I don't keep saying the Warriors. I don't know if the Thunder would ever trade him. But I could see the reasoning that this could actually be a piece to like get them something else. I just don't think the Thunder, like we passed that point where they're going to trade for like a superstar and they're going to trade for a Giannis or anything like that. They just won a championship without a superstar that they needed to go out and acquire externally. They won it with developing their guys like Shea to become a superstar, J-Dub and Chet, who are like young stars already as it is. So we'll see what ends up happening. Next up, we have the Clippers 2028 first round pick via the 76ers. This one is fascinating. Now, if the Thunder offered Cason Wallace for that, I feel like I don't know what they would say. This is what makes this kind of a fascinating discussion because this pick could end up being number 23. And you're like, that really wasn't the greatest pick in the world. Like the Thunder had the Clippers pick this year. That pick was 24 that ended up being the Clifford that they traded when at one point we thought that could have been a lottery pick when Kawhi was hurt to start off the year. So the Sixers own the 28 first from the James Harden trade. And the Clippers are so interesting right now because they have a good roster. think they'll make the playoffs next year. They have a good roster on paper for 2027, but that's it. Everybody's a free agent after that, outside of Ivica Zubac, and that's basically it. Like, Anaconda Niederhauser's 2028 contract is not guaranteed at all. It's the third year of that rookie deal. So guys like Bradley Beal, James Harden, Kawhi Leonard are all under contract for the next 2 years. Bradley Beal has a player option, but Harden, I don't think there's a player option on the second year. Either way, like, Kawhi's guaranteed. John Collins has 1 year left. Chris Paul has 1 year left. Derrick Jones Jr. has 2 years left. Chris Dunn has 1 or 2 years left. Like, everybody is a free agent. Bogdan has 1 year guaranteed left. Same with Batum. Everybody's a free agent after the 2027 season, which has a loaded free agency class right now. They could definitely resign. I expect at least Jokic to resign, but he's a free agent in 27. Giannis could be a free agent in 27. There's a lot of big names. Trae Young could be a free agent in 26. So I think this could go 2 ways. Say they just don't really add too much. Like, are you paying a 30 whatever year old James Harden's going to be in 2028? And then you have Kawhi a little bit older in his late 30s. I would feel risky about that. And maybe the Clippers don't land a Giannis or Jokic or something like that in the 27 free agency. So who knows? That can be a very good pick in 2028, given how old this Clippers roster is. And unless they do something so creative, which they definitely can, and it's so hard to predict, like, you would expect younger teams like San Antonio, OKC, Memphis, maybe Minnesota with Ant, that are going to definitely be better than the Clippers. By then, like, Portland could be really good. There's another West team that I feel like I'm forgetting. Like, who knows about New Orleans, like, how they're going to be. Maybe the Jazz are going to be really good in 2028. That these teams are going to catch up to the Clippers. So unless they're getting, like, somebody in their prime by then, they could end up becoming like a lottery team in 2028. And you never know with how the lottery goes. So definitely, obviously, we're going to keep an eye on that pick. Like, do I think the Warriors or the Clippers are going to be better in 28? I feel like the Warriors are going to be worse in 28 on paper, right? Yeah, I would say so. So I think that Warriors pick in 28 should probably be a little bit more valuable. It's tough just because the Clippers don't own their 28 first, so they would have more of an incentive to try to win, as the Warriors own their first round pick, so they might be okay with maybe having a rebuilding year and seeing some young guys play, but they're okay being in the lottery since they own their first round pick. Coming in at number 4, we have Ron Holland of the Detroit Pistons. Okay. Loved Ron Holland in the 24 draft cycle. He was my second ranked prospect. The summer league's getting me excited because sometimes, like, he was not a top 5 rookie, probably not even a top 10 rookie last year, but he showed the flashes. And then I'm like, was I too high on Holland? I know the shot was a big swing skill, but I thought the athleticism was so, like, tantalizing at the G League Ignite. And he obviously had the pedigree as a high school guy where I just loved him in the pre-draft process and watching the film on him in a dysfunctional G League Ignite setting. So he could be a potential guy. Like, are we ever going to get to a point with the Pistons where they're like, we can't realistically play Ron Holland and Asar Thompson next to Cade Cunningham just because neither Ron Holland and Asar are good shooters right now. Maybe both of them are never good shooters. I probably trust Holland's 3-point shot a little bit better than Asar Thompson's, but Thompson definitely has, or he's more athletic, but Holland's a great athlete as well. And he's got at least the better defensive side to his game right now, probably finishing at the rim, but Holland is a year younger, or at least a draft class behind him. So we may get to a point, where Ron Holland is that young trade piece to get a second co-star to Cade Cunningham. And out of everybody we've mentioned so far, like, I liked Ron Holland more than Shepherd before the pre-draft process. So I do think the NBA type athleticism that's translated and upside, I like Holland more than Shepherd. I like Holland more than Topic. And then you're kind of ranking those picks. Like, that Bucks 2029 first is fascinating. But I like Ron Holland. Like, Ron Holland or Cason Wallace, who would you rather have? Now, it obviously, like, I'd rather have Cason Wallace if I'm the Thunder. But if I'm a team like, I don't know, the Brooklyn Nets, I'd probably rather have Ron Holland and the potential upsider from a team like the Chicago Bulls. So I'm fine with that. I'm really big on Ron Holland. I think he's a fantastic transition offensive player and defensive player. He had that one game. I forget who they played last year. It was without Cade Cunningham. And he had like 20 plus points. He looks so comfortable with the ball in his hands, and he looks comfortable in summer league. 3-point shot looks better. He's getting to the free throw line. We'll see. Hopefully there's an increase in volume. I mean, Tobias Harris may have a scaled down role from last year. Hardaway's gone. Beasley's got the thing going on right now. Duncan Robinson's not going to really steal shots from Holland. Maybe Karis LeVert will. He probably will. But with Ivy coming back, I hope Holland still has a good chance to shine in Detroit. Next up at number 3, we have Kel'el Ware. Okay. Kel'el Ware, we all thought would have been dangled at least brought up in a Kevin Durant trade, but apparently Miami didn't want to even trade Nikola Jovic in a Kevin Durant trade, which is asinine. I don't get that whatsoever. Now, Eric Spoelstra came out this offseason and said that Khalil needs to work on his professionalism, be more consistent with that on and off the floor. So that was something that was a red flag for him coming out of Indiana, but he had an amazing rookie season. The floor spacing, the shot blocking, the athleticism, the rim running, the cleanup on the offensive and defensive glass. Kel'el Ware was great in Summer League last year. He had really good moments this Summer League as well, specifically in the Vegas games. And I love Kel'el Ware as a prospect. I really do right now, and a young player in the NBA. But do they think him and Bam will be able to maximize each other in the front court? Or is he always a backup big that we thought were like, okay, why are they drafting a backup center? But then Ware was a good three-point shooter. But if Ware's shot takes a little bit of a step back, sophomore slumps are a thing, could his value get a little bit, could it diminish in 6 months from now, right? Compared to what it is right now as one of the more exciting young bigs in the league. We know Miami probably wants to get another big name over there. They've been looking like Jimmy Butler got traded last year, but I'm sure they don't think they can realistically win it all with Tyler Hero and Bam as your 1 and 2. So we know they're going to always try to get that next guy. Is it going to be LeBron James? Obviously, it wasn't Kevin Durant. I have no idea. But I do think Kel'el Ware, probably right now, just because of the proven ability, the athleticism, the size, the three-point shooting, he's more valuable than Holland, Topic, and Shepard, who were all drafted in the same class. And he's also cheaper as well, given that he's a non-lottery pick compared to those other three that were lottery picks in the 2024 draft. Number 2, we have Phoenix's 2027 and 2029 first-round picks that the Houston Rockets still own. It's incredible, right? So Houston, we'll see how it ends up in 26. But they made that trade after the Nets traded away Mikal Bridges in the 24 offseason to give Brooklyn their 2025 and 2026 first, and they basically get Phoenix's 25, 27, and 29 first. Kind of incredible by the Rockets, given that the Nets ended up with the 8th overall pick to take Yegor Doman. I'm still learning how to say that consistently. And then the Suns got the 10th pick, which was Kaman Maliwatch, or the Rockets did, and then they used it for Kevin Durant. So they already got their guy that they probably would have had to give up like Şengün a year ago, but they were probably never going to really do that, or Jabari Smith. And now you still have the swap with Brooklyn in 27 from the James Harden trade. So you hope that Brooklyn, like, we'll see, like Brooklyn could end up with a Peterson or Boozer, and you had that pick in the 26 draft, but it's okay because in the 27 draft, which is a weaker class as of now, you're going to get the swap with Brooklyn. So say you're the 3 seed in the West, and Brooklyn is picking number 8, you're getting Brooklyn's pick, and Brooklyn's getting your pick. But you also have Phoenix's pick in 27. Who knows how they're going to look? And you have their 29 first. Like, Phoenix, I don't think got that much worse this offseason. You can make an argument they got better. I mean, on Wednesday's episode last week, you guys listened to me say if this NBA team got better, worse, or stayed the same this offseason. I said Phoenix either got better or stayed the same because I do think they got better depth. I think they got more upside. They got more shooting, more perimeter, and interior defense this offseason. Got more athletic. They might be kind of sneaky better than we think in 26 and 27. And who knows how they're going to be in 2029. Who knows how Jalen Green's going to be for this team. They will have a little bit of cap flexibility in the future as well by 2029 if they wanted to convince somebody to play with Booker. I don't know. I do think Phoenix is still on a fine path right now. If they traded Booker, then I would think the 27 first could be a little bit more valuable. But honestly, I think the Bucks 2029 first is way more valuable than than Phoenix's 2029 first. I think I'd rather have, I'm trying to think, like, would I rather have Phoenix's 27 or 29 first? Because 27's closer, so you may prefer that. But maybe the 29 draft, who knows about the 29 draft, right? Like the 27 draft, like Jonathan Givony, when he was still at ESPN, kind of wrote an article saying NBA executives are a little worried about the depth of that draft class. But we'll see. Where have we heard that before in 2024 and 2020? And those drafts still turned out to have some solid players. So on to the number 1 asset is Jared McCain of the Philadelphia 76ers. They mentioned Sixers fans might cringe at the suggestion of Jared McCain could somehow someway be feasibly available. That's fair. If you believe this current core's injury issues are too great to overcome, then the idea of dealing a 21-year-old who packed as much high-end potential into a 23-game sample as McCain did should be a non-starter. So this is if like the idea of like, could we get off the Paul George contract? Could we add a co-star to Embiid if he's healthy? And we try to go in before Embiid fully regresses and that contract is done. And maybe Edgecombe, Grimes, and Maxey is enough in the backcourt, and you trade away McCain. Because yes, McCain was maybe the best rookie. I thought he was going to win Rookie of the Year in that 23-game sample size, and then he suffers a season-ending injury. Who knows how he's going to look off the injury? It was a serious one, a serious lower body injury, and he relies a lot on the off-ball movement, his speed, his quickness, his agility. So we'll see if he's going to look the same. There's another mouth to feed in VJ Edgecombe. They also are going to get George and Embiid, you'd hope healthy for the first month, where there was a lot of like McCain's that scoring outburst where he got inserted into the starting lineup and was playing over 30 minutes a night. That's when either Paul George or Embiid, or sometimes both of them, or Maxey was hurt. So the touches are going to go down. So the numbers aren't going to look as good, especially with Quentin Grimes in the mix and VJ Edgecombe in that backcourt. So maybe this could be the highest value of Jared McCain's career. It really could be. Now, I still believe in McCain a lot. I still think he's a really good young player in this league. And I'm taking him over a lot of guys. Everybody we mentioned in this episode of Topic, Shepherd, Holland, and Ware, 100%. He's also a non-lottery pick, way cheaper than Ron Holland is going forward, and Reed Shepherd. But it's a numbers game too, right? And you're going to probably look at McCain's numbers next year. And if the Sixers are healthy, I don't think the numbers are going to look as flashy as they did as a rookie. Although I still think he's going to be such an impact player. Like, is Jared McCain closer to, I'm trying to make a comparison here. Like, is he closer to a Devin Booker or a Grady Dick? Maybe Devin Booker's too good to do that right now. Like, or is he closer to a Grayson Allen as a career player, or is he closer to a Devin Booker? Because if he's closer to a Grayson Allen, you maybe think this is when you capitalize on this absurd value. But if he's closer to Devin Booker, then you're obviously keeping him. Maybe Devin Booker's not a good comp, obviously. Booker's a little small or a little taller. Is he closer to Donovan Mitchell, right? Like, is he going to be a role player, or can this guy be an all-star one day? I think that's what you got to have to figure out. And will we say the same in February? If he's healthy and looking good, but he's also, you have Maxey, George, Embiid. I expect to score more than him. Maybe one of Edgecombe and Grimes as well. So McCain's going to be like the 5th to 6th scorer on the 76ers next year, which is kind of interesting on the outlook. So to recap, the top 10 trade chips right now in the NBA. Number 10, you got the Milwaukee Bucks 2029 first that Portland owns from the Dame trade in the 23 offseason. You have Nikola Topic here at number 9 to the Thunder. You have Reed Shepherd number 8 here to the Rockets. You have the Warriors 2028 first round pick that the Warriors do own at number 7. Number 6 is Cason Wallace of the Thunder. Number 5 is the Clippers 2028 first that the 76ers own. Number 4 is Ron Holland. Number 3 is Kel'el Ware. Number 2 is the Phoenix Suns first rounders in 27 and 29 at the Rockets own. And number 1 is Jared McCain of the 76ers. So that is going to be for me. Hope you guys did enjoy. That was definitely a fun exercise to talk about, and I really enjoyed that. If you guys did enjoy on YouTube, I'd appreciate you dropping a thumbs up. If you guys are listening on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, really appreciate a rating and review to help the podcast grow over there, which it has been this offseason. So thank you guys so much, and I'll catch you guys in Wednesday's episode. Peace.